Hello, I've got here some chard. This is both just the normal chard and some rainbow chard, although it's just the red ones. And I was selling it at a market today. The month we're in is April, so this is one of the few things that's growing really strongly and ready to pick at the moment. So we've got lots of it, and lots of people picked it up and then said, I don't really know what to do with this, and then put it down again and walked away. So I thought, right, we've got to learn how to cook chard. So we eat a lot of this, and the key is to separate the stems from the leaves. Not drastically, but just where you've got all stem, cut it off. So you're left with stems on one side, leaves on the other, and then you just slice up the stems. I do it really quite thinly, and you cook them just like you would cook perhaps pepper in a pan. Now the reason that you do them separately is that the stems take longer to cook than the leaves. They still don't take very long, but the leaves just need a quick wilt, just like spinach, whereas the stems need a little bit longer. So I'm just going to pop some olive oil in the pan. You could use any oil or butter. And the first thing I'm going to do is sizzle a bit of garlic, because chard on its own doesn't taste of very, very much. So I'm just going to pop the garlic in while the oil's still cool, like that. I always use the leftover bit. Some lucky person gets a giant bit of garlic. Right, we will come back when that garlic has just cooked off a little bit. While that is cooking in the pan, I've got some pre-roasted sweet potato that I cooked off when I was making some bread anyway, to take advantage of the oven being on. So at this stage you just want to microwave this for a minute or something like that, because I'm going to make a nice hot kind of, I don't know if you can still call it a salad when it's hot, but to me it's a salad. So the garlic's smelling really good and just starting to sizzle a bit, and you want it to be quite gentle, because if you fry garlic at too high a heat it goes all bitter and nasty. Anyway, I'm going to put in the chopped up stems there, and I'm just going to gently cook those in the pan. And while they're cooking, I'm just going to chop up the leaves roughly. Really doesn't matter what size you do, but obviously the smaller you chop something, the bigger the surface area, so the quicker it cooks. And I'm pretty impatient, so there we are. Hope there weren't any slugs in there. Right, that is ready. So we'll just wait until the stems have softened up. Then we'll pop this in. We'll add our sweet potato, which is nice and hot. Okay, so that's been gently cooking in some oil in a frying pan for about 4 to 5 minutes. That will obviously depend on the size of the chunks of the stem that you've put in. Mine are quite small. That's 4 to 5 minutes. And at this stage, I'm going to put in all of that lovely greenery, which is just health on a plate. You know, think of all the fibre and the vitamins and the minerals in there. And at this stage, I'm going to put in the tiniest bit of water, literally just a dribble like that. Otherwise they can get a little bit tough. I'm going to pop it back on the heat, and I'm going to put a lid on. And that keeps the moisture in the pan and means that it sort of steams rather than frying. Now that's just going to need about 2 minutes, and it'll all wilt down, not quite as much as spinach, it's a bit more fibrous than spinach, but in the same sort of way. And then we are going to pop it on a plate. I'm going to add our hot roasted sweet potato, and here I've got sunflower seeds, which I toast in great big batches whenever the oven's on anyway, so I'm going to put a nice big handful of those in. And the same goes for pumpkin seeds. This big handful of those in. And I will add some olive oil and some salt when it comes out of the oven, the stove. So there we are, a lovely pan of cooked chard, and just before I add it to my bowl I'm going to give it a really generous sprinkling of sea salt, because otherwise, well, it doesn't taste much. And it goes. Now add that in with the rest of it, and a bit of pepper. Some olive oil, and I know this is a bit off-piste, but a bit of sour cherry molasses, which I sort of bought by accident, but I've discovered it's the most delicious thing in the world. There we are. And quite often I'll put a blob of hummus on the side, and that is a spectacular dinner. Have a go.